Welcome to tonight's Leicester Fan TV show. My name's Phil. It's the Fanzone show. We're here live every Monday, 7:30 till 8. Just me, just you, whatever you want to talk about. We've watched the match. We've listened to what the pundits say. We've listened to the football fans forum, whatever you want to call it tonight. Great show with Radio Leicester tonight. Listen, what do you think about the season so far? 2 league wins, 1 cup win. Decent start. Are we getting too excited? Are we not getting excited enough? We've got 30 minutes. We're going to get all your comments on screen. So join us. It's your views that matter, not mine, in tonight's Fanzone show. Yes, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. My name's Phil. If you're watching this live, your comments are going to get on screen and we're going to talk about whatever you want tonight. There's no script. It's just me. It's just you. I want to know your views on Leicester's win away at Huddersfield. And, of course, we'll start that looking forward to Cardiff at the King Power on Saturday, 3 o'clock. We'll all be excited for that. Don't forget, down there. Woo! Follow us at Leicester Fan TV, wherever you are, whatever channel you are. It'd be great to get you on there. But listen, most of all today, let's get comments in on there. Auntie Karen, good evening, says, any news on Daka? No, listen, it's a good topic. Karen's asking about there. Effectively, she's saying, where are some of these players who weren't in the squad on Saturday? Where are they going to go in there? So what do you want to think? Who do you think is going to go? It's September the 1st. Is transfer deadline day. There's definitely going to be a few go. Trust me, there's going to be a few go. Put in the comments who you think is going to go and let me know what else you want to talk about. Andy says here, scrappy win, but 3 points is 3 points. I'm with you, Andy. It wasn't glorious. There was a few glorious moments in there. Dennis Pratt should have scored. Nice move. What do you reckon? Good evening, Bubba. Hope you're well. From lovely Scranton, PA. Pennsylvania, is that? Am I getting that right? I know it's obviously down, I say, over there in the States. Hope you're well, Bubba. Love the start, but can't wait for the transfers to get sorted. I hope the transfers aren't going to mess us up too much, Bubba. Like Karen was saying, who's going to go, who's going to come. Don't forget, get as many comments in as you want. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Craig's feeling positive. I'm feeling positive. We're all feeling positive. Come on. Nick says, can only beat what's in front of you. 3 wins from 3. Can't be bad. On to Cardiff on Saturday. Coventry, that 3 points could be far more valuable at the end of the season than we all realised at the start. Tough game. Maz, good evening to you. Gav, good evening to you. Lots of good evenings, Neil and Chris. Get your comments in. What do you want to talk about, guys? What do you want to talk about? Daniel says, sign Pirot. Am I saying that right, Daniel? Would you agree with him in there? Steve, just good evening from Carlisle, all the way over there in Carlisle. Not quite as glamorous as where Bubba is, Steve, is it, Carlisle? But anyway, good evening to you. Gav, again, another topic here. Do you want to? Gav says, good start to the season, but we still need a striker. What? Nacho doing what Nacho does, which is good game, great game, good game, great game, bang, average game, bang. Nacho just, again, that consistency goes, he's frustrating at times. Vardy, Daka, where's Daka? You know, what's going on in there? Keith saying pre-season worked a treat. Thumbs up. I know, we were grumbling about pre-season. Listen, in a way, Keith, I could argue that the Burton game was all part of pre-season in a little way. But yeah, so far, so good. Let's take it. And again, some of the good bits, I would say, I don't know what you guys are thinking, let me know. But so far, I don't think we've even hit full stride yet by a long way. There's little snatches of it, but it's not got there yet. Patrick saying none of them due to wages. Patrick, I mean, let's face it. Who are we talking about? Castagna? Do you think Castagna's? I mean, we could go by these one by one. Who do you think? Put in the comments who you think is going to go. Castagna, is he going to go? Daka, is he going to go? Sumari, is he going to go? Suter, is he going to go? Do we really need Danny Ward? 2 keepers on the bench? Danny Ward and Daniel Leverson on the bench? I don't think so. It seems strange. There could be 6 players there, go. But then you can't get rid of all those players without bringing some players in. So where would you go with all that? Terry says, sadly, Christensen first to come out to say he's there to get us up. Yeah, Victor Christensen as well in there. Rich is saying Vestergaard, Fies, Pratt, Ward, Sumari and Diddy Dako all need to go and get some new players in there. Well, Richie, I've got to be honest with you. I don't agree about Wout Fies. And to be fair, I think Vestergaard can handle the championship at the moment until Connor Cody's back. So do you agree with what Richie says? Or do you think, well, no, don't agree with all of those? I'd probably like to keep Ndidi as well. I don't know. It's going to be interesting in there. Good evening anyway there. Andy says defence hasn't really been tested yet. I think Coventry had a bit of a go, Andy, but I agree. Burton and Huddersfield, not too much to worry about there. Nick says, I hope you're well, Nick. I think we are a right wing and a centre-back short. Daka, Sumari, Castagna to go before the window shuts. So, Nick, if Daka goes, if Sumari goes, if Castagna goes, what are you going to do with the likes of Danny Ward and Iverson? Are you keeping? But do we need? Look at lcfc.com. Look at the squad. We've got 5 keepers on that page. We don't need 5 keepers. That's bonkers, isn't it? Absolutely bonkers. So I'm sure some of them will go. Keith goes on to say, winning when you're not at your best is title winning form. Absolutely. Agree with you there. But hey, Keith, calm down. Let's not get into championship winning form, yada, yada, yada yet. It's 2 league wins and 1 cup win. And I would argue to you, we should have won all those 3. We did say in the match preview on Friday, me and Reedy, we did say that, do you know what? We really should be beating Huddersfield. If you look at it, player for player, everything they've got. Philip Upton says, Daka off to Everton. Let's hope so. I've got to be fair. I've been on a couple of Everton fans forums where they're talking about Daka, and you've got some of their fans going, "Oh, get him in! Yeah, great, great." And there's a heck of a lot of Leicester fans piling in and going, "Yeah, great, great. They're there like great. Have Daka. Honestly, we'll bring him in the taxi. We'll bring him. We'll drive him up to you." Jay says, still some people moaning, but you can only beat what's in front of you. Loads of movement happen in the transfer market. I agree, Jay, and that is going to be the interesting thing, isn't it? Who is left here in, well, September the 1st? That's about 16, 17 days. I hope it doesn't upset our window, you know, the whole thing, because I just think there is going to be still 3 or 4 go, and maybe we're going to need 3 or 4 in. And again, I hate to say it, but you'll probably look at the squad today that like there and going, wow, the squad in depth, you know, Premier League players on the bench. I think by the time we get to the end of the transfer window, we'll probably be of a lower standard, if I'm honest. But maybe there's standards of quality, and then there's people who want to be here and play. No point having players here who don't want to play, isn't it? Gaz, good evening, says, I think Vestergaard has done okay. I agree, Gaz. I think he's done okay. Little bit shaky, but he's been pretty solid. Had quite a lot of the ball. I think he's done all right in there. Yes, Richie says Castagna needs to go. I think Castagna does want to go. But again, if he wants to go, Richie, let him go. We need players here who are committed and want to play at the Championship and get Leicester back up. So if Castagna, I don't blame some of the players if they do want to go. We've been saying that. Paul says not playing that good, but winning. Wants to hit the ground running. Think we'll walk the league. Oh, there's that overconfidence. What do you think? There is some fans who are so confident, like Paul. Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, honestly, we'll walk the league. We'll walk it by Christmas. It'll be all over. I don't think it's. I think it's going to be a long haul, Paul. I really do. I really do. But I agree that we're not playing that well yet. But you know, it's looking good. Scott, good evening, Scott. Hope you're well. Says Nacho would have performed better against Coventry. Huddersfield was a Vardy game all day long. Oh, sorry, Huddersfield was a Vardy game all day long. That'll teach me, Scott. I need to learn to read punctuation. Thank you. I'm okay. Very good of you to punctuate in comments. Most people don't. He goes on to say, after a pregnant pause, I'm okay with playing out the back, but don't underestimate that long ball game. Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. I think, yeah, I think some of the difference I'm spotting between Enzo ball and Rogers ball is that there's changes of pace, Scott. I don't know if you notice it. There's changes of pace and there's changes of what they do. Sometimes they will ping longer balls and go a lot more direct. Sometimes they will pivot, winks or pivot instead of always passing it backwards, always passing the way you go. There is change of direction. So I think that is some of the differences that we've seen in there. Andrew, good evening, says 2 wins, great start, we can get better. Don't forget there's that 3rd win in there, Burton. Did you hear that stat? That's the first time Leicester City have won 3 opening games in all competitions, including the Cup, ever. Well, not ever, since 1920 something. Wow. How bad are we at times? 100 years before you win 3 games on the start. Deary me. Even when we won the Premier League, we didn't do it. Joe, good evening. Joe, watching on YouTube. Don't forget we're live on YouTube. And if you miss this watching it live, which I don't know why I'm telling you that because you are watching it live, but if you did miss it, you can watch it on playback on YouTube. It's there forever. Anyway, Joe's there and says, Castagna, Daka, Sumari, Suter, Victor Christensen, all to go. That's an interesting one. Even Victor Christensen, you think, Joe. Now, there's two things here. Who do you think will go and who do you want to go? Because they're very, very, very different questions. Players you think will go and players you want to go. Because there will be some players you want to go, you know. And let's be honest, in there, Daka, I hope he does go. Reedy will be watching this game. Phil, Daka could rip the championship to shreds. Just give him a chance. I'm like, anyway, I'm going into what goes on at work now. Reedy, give Daka a chance. He'll be great. He'll be great. I say he's played 50 times, Reedy. Oh, he just needs a chance. Anyway, that's me and Daka. Andy says, Harry Winks showing his Premier League class. I agree. This is what I say. We have bought Harry Winks and probably Connor Cody when he's back and playing. We've bought 2 players in who probably could still make a Premier League side without too much trouble. So we've done well in there. Gav says, Ward needs to go. I think we've got to let Ward and Iverson go. It seems pointless to me. They're clearly not in Enzo's, they don't make his top 2 goalies. So I would question to you, if they stay, it's just to take the money, let's be honest, and have an easy life up at Seagrave on Sea. It's not because they want to play footballers, and, let's accept that. Andrew says Ward and Smithers can go. Well, Smithers was the strangest keeper signing I think I've had in a long time. I don't really know why we signed Smithers because he's neither here nor there. He's like of his age, I think off the top of my head, Andrew, I think Smithers is like 31, 32. He's never really made it anywhere. He's never really going to make it anywhere. And I believe he's on about 10 grand a week. Is he the keeper coach? I don't know. It's just a very strange one. And obviously, again, not going to get in there. Didn't make the bench on, he's a 5th choice keeper at a championship club. It's like, why have we got 5 keepers? It's just daft. Matty, good evening, Matty. Hope you're well. Ward, Daka, Sumari out. Do you want them out or do you think they're going to go? That's the 2 questions in there. Yeah, we don't need 5 keepers. The world's gone bonkers. Honestly, take the hint. At least 2 of them need to go. That would be what I would say in there. Terence, good evening, says, let's be honest, last 2 league games we won by a photo finish. Yes, Terry, it's not been super convincing, but do you know the best bit, Terence, is that we did actually win those 2 games. It would have been very, very easy for us to be, on 2 points or maybe 4 points, but we're not. We're on 6, and this is what we want. Look at the table. We're in that top 2, undefeated already. Every chance, and we'll start to look at Cardiff, but every chance. We'll all go into Cardiff thinking we can win that. I certainly do, and we'll come on to that in a bit. Ian says here, we've beaten Huddersfield away in the second game, promoted already according to fate. Is that the last 3 years, Ian, that stat? The last 3 teams who've won at Huddersfield away in the second game have gone on to be promoted. Let me know that sort of stat in there. Chris saying we'd like to keep Dennis Pratt. I'm with you on that. I'm a big Dennis Pratt, big DP fan. I would definitely keep him in there. Richie would keep Harry Suter. There's something about Harry, isn't there, Richie? That Brendan bought him and then didn't play him that much. Dean Smith and John Terry. John Terry's, one of the most famous centre backs in the past 20 years in the Premier League. They weren't picking Suter. Enzo's not picking Suter. That's even like I say, Brendan bought him and not picking him. I have seen some rumours that Brendan does want to take Suter up to Celtic. So you question what's going on when we buy a player in January and then he just doesn't feature. You do wonder what's going on in there. Chris says, to be fair, I can't work out who's playing where at times. Players doing lots of position changes. Well, okay, Chris. I've not really spotted that, but I'll look out for it against Cardiff. But if it is, I think that's quite interesting because that's being fluid. That's people moving. And again, we know that's part of Enzo's tactics with people like Ricardo Pereira to be, fluid in an attacking phase or in one position and a defensive phase or in another. So I quite like that. If that's what you're spotting, Chris, I think that's quite good. I'm not saying you're being negative in there. Andrew says, this is who he'd get rid of: Sumari, Daka, Ward and Smithers in there. Ross saying fans were terrific the other day at the ground and on the train back. I hope you all had a good away day up there. Reedy said the atmosphere was really good up at the Leicester end, so that's good to hear. Ben says, Winks is the new Kante, comes deep, wins the ball, starts an attack. Listen, we all know that Mr. Kante was amazing in that one Premier League season he played for us. But his biggest thing, Kante, was about breaking up the play, getting the tackle in, winning the ball back and moving it on. I got to be honest, Ben, I see a little bit more from Winks. I know you got to remember, we're at the Championship level, but I think Winks has got a little bit more about him in his game than Kante at this level. So I'm not comparing Kante and Winks because I think it's not the same. But I think Winks, I think, can hold the ball a bit more, dribble a bit more with it, move the ball, as I keep saying, pivot with him. What do you think? Do you agree with me there? Slightly different types of players in there. Paul says, think we need to sign a keeper. I think we don't, Paul. I think we need to let two of them go. Ant says, Neil, we desperately need two more wingers. Two wingers and two wingers. How many wingers? No, I would go for two. A striker and a midfielder. We are really light up front. Listen, shall we look? Ant says, I don't agree two strikers, but if you agree with Ant, put two in there, and I know what you mean by two. I think Mavididi has done okay so far. Obviously, scored his first goal against Huddersfield. Good goal, well played, Mavididi. I thought the keeper could have done better, but again, listen, that's a Championship keeper, not a Premier League keeper. A Premier League keeper, you would have said save that, or you would have been slaughtered as a Premier League keeper to let that one go. It is in a hard place, down low near his legs, but I think fair play to Mavididi. I don't think we need two wingers. I've got to be fair. I think we've got Mark Brighton, we've got McAteer, we've got the other lad. I think we're okay-ish on the wing. Striker is definitely a debate. I think we could have that now if you want Ant and everybody else who's watching. The thing is, you've got to probably shift Daka on. Nacho, would he stay? Would he go? Is Vardy too old? The striker is an interesting debate, isn't it? It really is an interesting debate. So let us know what you think about strikers. Where do you think we should go in there? There's been talk, obviously, of Pirro, am I saying that, from Swansea? It's an interesting one. Scott goes on to say, imagine if we bought Lookman, Mavididi left, Lookman right, Ode's dream. Scott, to be fair, there's questions. If we'd have bought Lookman, we might well have stayed up. £14 million. We'll never know if that was the mistake of the season and letting Casper go 4 days. Hey, Barrett! Don't you dare drag me back into that. We're into this season now, and let's have a good old chat about it. Gaz says, Enzo could be the one. Slightly unorthodox approach. Get good vibes from him. At the end of the day, we need to get wins no matter how they come. I agree. He does give off good vibes. I'm liking a lot what I see so far, Gaz. And if you're watching this, what are your feelings towards Enzo so far? We're all having a bit of a love-in for Enzo. A good-looking guy. I could turn. Matty says, Manchester City win the Premier League titles previously without a true number 9. Yes, Matty, although they have rectified that by signing Haaland, obviously, in there. Nick says, Daka out, Pirro in. I think there'd be a lot of you would agree with that, what Nick said. Let me know in the comments if you do. Daka out, Pirro in. I think a lot of you would say that would be in there. Ben goes on to say, try Mavididi up top, get another winger in, maybe. Joe says, I would let Ndidi go, get a new midfield and striker before the window closes in there. Again, it's going to be an interesting one. Ndidi, Dennis Pratt, these are some of the players you may well not want to let go. You might want to let go. Will they be there at the end of the season? I don't know. Andy goes on to say Mavididi would be better as a central striker. I'm maybe, Andy. Have you seen something different that I haven't? I mean, I know he can play there. I don't know. I don't know on that, Andy. Again, it could be an interesting one. In there. Ben, no news on Sumari. And not as far as I've seen. If anybody watching this has seen any transfer news that's more than... I'm laughing because I'm reading Ben White's comment. Yeah. Lee says in here, we're in a good place with more additions coming in. We are, Lee. We are. There's going to be people coming in. There's going to be people going. So it is definitely going to change in there. Lots and lots. Thanks so much for so many comments. Keep them coming in. I'm trying to get as many on screen as possible. Listen, if you can do me a favour, especially if you're watching on Facebook, can you give us a like? That would be much appreciated. I can see exactly how many people have liked. And there's loads of you watching and not many have given us a like. Just it's one click. Give us a like. And then once you've done that, do the share. And then share the love of Leicester Fan TV to more people. Thank you. I can see people liking now. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate that you're doing that. I don't like to beg for a like, but it does help us. So thank you. Literally about 40 people just then have given us a like. So thank you very, very much for that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you've subscribed. Keep leaving those comments in and join all the debate in there. And I must say at this stage as well, by the way, I've been very, very naughty because we've got 2 competitions running on LeicesterFanTV.com. One to win a home shirt, one to win an away shirt. Thank you to the guys at Pukka for the away shirt in particular. I am so sorry that I've been naughty and not picked a winner. I must do it. It's on my to-do list tomorrow. The people in my office will be saying, Phil, you spent all day moaning at us to get things done. And don't tell them. Don't let them know, but I haven't picked the winners and I must do. So I'm sorry to everybody who's entered, but it gives you one more chance if you haven't entered to win either shirt. Go on LeicesterFanTV.com. Anyway, did you ask? You did ask nicely. Oh, thank you. Cheers for that. Anyway, let's get back to the football. Ross says here, you should put the Hawaiian shirt, Leicester shirt as a prize draw. Ross, I do need to share some of your video footage of you in said Hawaiian shirt. Especially that one of you dancing at your 30th party. Happy birthday, Ross. In there. Terry says, the ones going would be the ones that Enzo wants to go. Yeah, I think so, Terry. And it sounds like, by what he was saying last week in his press conference, that he's persuaded a few to stay who did say they wanted to go. So I'm sure that Enzo effect is coming on. So that would be good in there. Andy says in here, Perot would really make all the difference. He would get the goals. That'd be interesting in there. Ben says, still very positive. Ben's getting carried away way too early. Listen, I think I'm going to be joined by Jamie Reed now. Are you ready to come in, Reedy? He's giving me the thumbs up. Let's get Reedy on. I was not expecting Reedy, but as we do these things live, here he is. How are you?
Hello. I'm just coming to say how you're a naughty boy.
For not picking the shirt winner. I know, you don't need to come on here and berate me.
I'm just saying, I got told off today, so I'm gonna tell you off.
Thank you. Yeah, Reedy's right. Listen, I'll do it tomorrow, I promise. So we'll pick 2 shirt winners tomorrow. We'll do it live on Leicester Fan TV. You can do it with me, Reedy.
Yes.
We'll put everybody's names into one of the wheels of fortune and we'll spin it. So join us at some point tomorrow and we'll do that. Reedy, listen, before I let you go, let's have a quick chat about Cardiff on Saturday. Obviously, lots to look forward to. It's back at the King Power Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Transfers in and out before then. Do you think there may be some comings and going before Saturday?
Well, we've heard from today that it looks like the Chelsea Italian guy is coming in tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully that gets announced before Saturday. Other than that, I've not heard any more concrete kind of rumours. But again, I don't think we need too many more. Like I say, we might have a few more going out. But I think it gets to the point now where if we do, we've got to let someone else go before we do bring in, because we don't know what we're buying. Obviously, defender, maybe so, is probably the one we have to with Cody out. But like I say, if Daka goes, then you go look for a new striker. If Castagna goes, then you maybe replace that position. It's all depending on who leaves now, I think.
Join me, Reedy. Join me. Just go like this. And join me and go, if Daka goes.
No.
I nearly got you there.
I hope he doesn't go.
Get out. It is going to be interesting. There's lots of split. It's interesting. I mean, keepers, Iverson and Danny Ward. Surely we can't keep 5 keepers, Reedy. It just seems a bit strange. So we've got to let 1 or 2 of those go as well, haven't we?
You should let them go, but the problem is, which ones are you going to let go? I think Enzo's obviously done what he wanted and brought a keeper in, but who will want any other keepers? Smithies is going to stay until he gets caught out of the club. That's literally, no one's going to buy him. You've got Iverson, who I think is too good for us, but he will be the backup. And then who the heck wants to buy Ward?
But Iverson's not going to be backup because he didn't play on. It can't be the third choice, surely.
No, you are right. Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah, because the Polish guy's probably going to be the backup now. So, but then who is going to come in for the likes of Iverson or Ward? Because no one wants to buy Ward. And Iverson, he only wants probably to play first team football. And I don't think he will get that at many clubs, if I'm totally honest. So, it all depends on what teams want him. And most teams at the moment, with already nearly starting the season, that everyone's going to have their first choice keeper ready to go. So people are not going to wait until after the season started before they buy keepers.
Daniel says here, I'm very happy with the start we've made, like we all are, Reedy, but we look very vulnerable from crosses. Nobody seems to be bossing the box from a defensive point of view. I'm not quite seeing it like Daniel sees there. I haven't quite noticed that being exposed. Reedy, you were at the game at Huddersfield. Did you feel that we were being a bit exposed in that sort of defensive way?
I don't know, because obviously Huddersfield are a bigger, stronger and more physical team. So you'd probably suggest maybe it was a bit more tense than the Coventry game. But we've had this issue for the last couple of years now, other than when we bought that set piece coach and it looked a bit more solid in the defensive areas when the corners came in and then set pieces came in, because we conceded nearly one every game before we brought him in. So it did change, but obviously now Rodgers is left and the whole backroom staff are left. He's gone. Maybe there's a bit of a unreliability in that defence at the moment now. Obviously, we need someone like Vestergaard or Suter to be there because of their height. But when they don't win the headers, and like when Coventry scored their goal, they're 3 goals, and that's where it's probably going to cost us big time, because that's what cost Burnley last year.
Yeah, I know, really. Sorry, mate. You still think he could rip the championship up, don't you?
We've got a bet. I've got a bet with Sam saying if he gets 10 goals, I get 20 quid. So I might as well, innit?
Fair enough. Andy says here, best for player and club if Daka goes. He's an unhappy stay at Leicester. It just hasn't worked out. To be fair, I joke about Daka, Reedy. I do. I feel sorry for us. I feel sorry for him. I hate it when we sign a player, and I actually think there is a player there in Daka. I think there is a player there. We didn't need to sign a player because we don't play to his strengths, and I'd say the same about Jamie Vardy. We don't play to his strengths. We did talk about strikers earlier before you came on, Reedy, and it was still a question mark. Do we need to go and get a striker? Do you feel like we're not there?
It all depends, because for me, I don't think we need another striker yet, because we've got 3 strikers, and we've got Mavadidi who can play in that position if he needs to.
Yes, Joe. I think Joe suggested that earlier in the chat.
And
play there.
The way Enzo plays is 1 striker up front and 2 kind of more attacking players behind him. So I see why people are asking that, because of we're not scoring too many goals and we're not creating too many chances. But that will come with time. Like I say, we've played 2 games in the Championship. We've won them, and they've come by continuously playing the style, and it eventually comes through. So hopefully by the end of the season, you'll see us scoring goals for fun. It's only been a month into this process, and I hope that by halfway through the season or even earlier, that we are scoring 3 or 4 past teams.
I mean, Andy might have it summed up there in one sentence. Daka not good enough. Vardy finished. Nacho too inconsistent, because Nacho was a bit average, bang average, wasn't he, against Huddersfield? Really, Reedy?
He suited the style, I think. We needed someone like that over Vardy or Diak, because we weren't playing their balls at the top. But I know what you mean. Like I say,
but we big Nacho up, don't we? We big Nacho up. I know I do. I'm like, oh, he's great. And then he'll have a game like Saturday, and you go.
It's just hard, because it all depends who starts. It depends on who we play. Like Cardiff on the weekend, they have got big defenders, so you probably would start Iheanacho. But if you're playing someone who plays a high line, then you would probably play the likes of Vardy or Daka. So it all depends on who you face and how the team lines up against you. So at the moment, you will probably have Kel because he scores more goals. Like say Andy says, Vardy's finished. I do think that is the case. I just don't think he's the striker we had the last 10 years or whatever it was. And then Daka, like say, we're just not giving him the service to how he wants it. So what's the point in playing him if he's not going to get the ball?
It's going to be interesting. The Cardiff game, obviously, we'll have match previews really this week, and there'll be all sorts of chat on Leicester Fan TV. We'll properly look forward to the Cardiff game. Again, they've had a bit of a mixed start, haven't they? They drew away at Leeds, and then they got a result on Saturday, didn't they? Or
I think so. Yeah, I think I remember them getting a win. But like I said, I put a comment in before saying that the last two games we've looked at it and thought from how whoever they played before, like the Huddersfield game, they had Plymouth who just got promoted, and you shouldn't be losing to just a promoted team. So you've got to look into you've got to beat Huddersfield. Now they've just played someone, I can't remember who it is. Yes, they got a win, but they drew to Leeds.
Cardiff. So. Well,
yeah.
Cardiff, they drew to Leeds, and then they lost at home to QPR.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah, so, QPR are awful at the moment. So, and even though they just won, you expect to go to home against Cardiff and beat them.
Yeah, and again, we'll match preview it properly later this week, but I'll be saying the same as last week against as we did before Huddersfield, which is we really, really should be getting 3 points. I mean, Richie's going for a 4-0, but I don't know. I feel if we could get, because I don't think we've properly on song yet, Reedy. We could do somebody like 3 or 4-0 without too much trouble.
I will say we got lucky to beat both teams in both games, and that's just because we didn't create enough. We got lucky against Huddersfield because they ball it straight through the keeper's legs. And Cardiff game, we kind of switched the team up and it kind of worked for us. I don't think it was Enzo Star that made us win. I think it was Dewsbury having a brilliant game that brought us the win. So it all depends, and I do think we'll win, but it's about.
I slightly disagree with you, Reedy. I think both games we've won because over 90 minutes, the quality. Quality in our squad does push through, and I certainly think again you'll notice that at Huddersfield we scored in the 75th minute, was it? Mm-hmm. Again, I said last week, I think in that last 20 minutes when we're making subs, they're making subs.
They get tired, we get better.
Well, yeah, perhaps Premier League. You know, we've got players who played in the Europa League. We've got players who played in the Champions League. We've got players who won the Premier League. We've got players in there who won the FA Cup. We've got players who have been playing for the last 9 years between them at the top levels. So it should get in there. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Simon's comment. Reedy needs to get an injection of optimism. I'm just saying how I think it is. We scored late in both games, and even you agree in that Cardiff Coventry game, we didn't look amazing. At Huddersfield, you said yesterday or today, we didn't look amazing, but we got through it, and that's how. I don't care if we win 1-0 or we win in the game by 1 goal if we play awful. That's how champions do it.
I think Matt sums it up nicely there. Our fitness shows through towards the end of the game. Our quality shows through. Like we keep saying, if Huddersfield's players on the bench are on the bench because they're not good enough, really, for Huddersfield to start. You know, no offence to some of these players, but they're not of that quality. There's players on Leicester's bench coming on again who are, you know, decent level players who could play in the Premier League. Like we've just said about Winks. Winks, for me, from what I'm seeing and everything like that, he could easily have gone and played in the Premier League this season and perhaps joined one of the clubs at Bournemouth or Fulham, somebody, you know, at that level and would not have looked out of place. So for him to come and be playing at Leicester against Huddersfield and Coventry, we should be beating these teams. And I hate to keep saying it like that.
Every single signing we've made at the moment seems like a too high-level championship player to be here. Do you know what I mean? Cody is Premier League level. Winks, he is Premier League level. Mavadidi, he probably could have got into a Premier League side. These are the players that you'd say they've come because they see a process and they see a plan to get straight back up into the Premier League. And like Ben Morgan says, winning ugly and win titles. You do. You can play as awful as you want. As long as you win 1-0 or you do win the game in the end, then that's all that matters. Like say 3 points is massive.
Listen, Reedy, make sure I do this tomorrow. We're going to pick. We've got 2 competitions that we're going to. You got this is your very last chance to win. You can win either the away orange shirt or you can win the home shirt. We've got one of each to give away. So, Reedy, make sure I do that tomorrow, can you?
Well, is it on your to-do list?
Do you know, it needs to be. Make sure you put it on there tomorrow. Thanks, Reedy, telling me how to do the job.
No worries.
See you later.
See you in a bit. Bye.
I'm going to have to put up with that all day tomorrow. Reedy going, you don't know. Oh, anyway, listen, just in case you didn't notice, we've got one of these shirts. We've got an away shirt. We've got a home shirt to give away as well. We've got 2 competitions on LeicesterFanTV.com. So go and enter them. They're free to enter. I promise you, I will draw those tomorrow at some point live here on Leicester Fan TV. So good luck to everybody on there. Nick says he doesn't like the wool shirt. Nick, enter. And I tell you what, if you win the wool shirt, you can pick a home shirt. To be fair, if you win the home shirt, you can pick an away shirt if you want. Well, that nice. We don't mind. We'll do whatever's. So make sure you go and have a look on LeicesterFanTV.com. Thanks for everybody who gave us a like. I can see loads of people did give us a like, so much appreciate that. This week on Leicester Fan TV, there's no game till Saturday, so it's a bit of a more relaxed. It's a bit like a Premier League week. We're building up to the weekend nicely. We've got various shows coming up. We've got those competition shows tomorrow. We'll have a match preview with Reedy and Sam later this week. We've got Locks with this championship chat on Thursday night's new show. If you haven't seen that before, make sure you check that out. And we've got the watch along as ever with Elijah and Michael on Saturday. And of course, an Aftermath show, the famous, the world famous, the one and only Aftermath show with Jamie from the Fox's Arms on Sunday morning at 9:30, where you'll be able to pick the bones out of hopefully another win against Cardiff. So listen, thanks to everybody who's watched. Thanks for all your views, your comments. We love doing this on a Monday night. Get your comments in. That's what it's all about. This is your show. What we want to know is what you want. Thank you, Nick, for your kind comments. It's very kind of you to say that, but we'll see you very, very soon. See you tomorrow, in fact. Cheers.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.
P.S. Reedy, while we're still live and you're watching, you're picking me up on my to-do list. Look at your spelling on there. How do you spell favourite? Comment your views.
I'm American, okay? I'm American.
Live at the end. There's nobody watching now. Look, you're American. Add that to your to-do list. Make sure you learn how to spell. See you all later.
See you in a bit.